A delivery driver from Essex who caused a fatal crash after repeatedly ignoring driving bans has been jailed. Chelmsford Crown Court heard how Graham Bangs from Basildon had been convicted of driving whilst disqualified no fewer than 4 times.
Outside court, the wife of the driver that was killed gave her view of Graham Bangs.
How do I put it in words you can actually broadcast? He's a scumbag. He has no regard for the law at all, and today's hearing isn't going to make a blind bit of difference to how he continues his life when he comes out.
Bangs worked as a driver for a plant hire company despite being banned. And last June, on this road near Tiptree in Essex, his van collided with a motorcyclist. Stephen Emsden was described in court as a careful rider. He died of catastrophic injuries.
I've lost my partner, my soulmate. My children have lost their dad. My family have lost their son and son-in-law.
And it wasn't until he was taken to this police station 2.5 hours after the crash that Bangs told police his real name and revealed his appalling driving record. The court heard how Bangs already had 2 convictions for drink driving and 4 convictions for driving while disqualified. His Honour Judge Goldstorp QC told him this is a case of gross flouting of the law and deliberate disobedience. Jane Emsden was upset Bangs was sentenced to 4 years. She said it should have been longer, and she believes penalties for drivers who ignore driving bans should be harsher. Gareth George, BBC Look East.
A 44-year-old man from Wisbech has been arrested on suspicion of murder. Jolanta Dumkuvien, who comes from Lithuania, was found dead at her home in Wisbech on Friday. The police have been searching the house and the area. Easyjet has warned the impact of the volcano in Iceland has wiped millions of pounds off its profits. The budget airline has cancelled more than 6,500 flights so far. The company says the disruption could knock £75 million off its annual profits.
A national pub company claimed today that almost 4 out of 10 people over the age of 34 would be interested in running their own pub. In Suffolk, there's been a big increase in applications for tenancies, despite the challenging economic climate.
Lunchtime at the Feathers in Felixstowe. Whilst customers enjoy a pint, it's one of several pubs looking for a new landlord. But in a time when the industry has suffered, recruiting people doesn't seem to be a problem.
There's various ways to get into the industry, which is either buying an existing lease and the level of the price of the lease is determined by the existing leaseholder, or for example a pub like this would be around £25,000 including working capital.
The latest figures from the British Beer and Pub Association show that in 6 months 144 pubs have shut in this region. Only 23 have opened. Nigel Paul's been running a pub in Ipswich for 14 years. He knows how hard it is to make it successful.
I've seen a lot of people come into my pub, for example, and they like it and they want to create that themselves. And they go in blindly, really, and then 2 years later they've been and done the pub business and don't want anything to do with it anymore.
But in a time when recent figures show profit is down 11% for pubs like the Feathers, companies are keen to make people aware of the competitive nature of the industry.
Any business, particularly in pubs, you have to innovate. And you have to stay ahead of the game and offer different things, be it food or you need to give people a reason to come out of the house.
So if you're after more than just a game of pool in your local, maybe now's the time to give the pub industry a shot. Felicity Simper, BBC Look East.
Plans for a new wind farm off the Suffolk coast could be larger than first thought. The new Galloper wind farm scheme is one of 5 given the go-ahead today nationwide. Developments in the Wash and off Norfolk's east coast have also been given permission to expand. Norwich City boss Paul Lambert has been named League One Manager of the Year by the League Managers Association. Lambert has been recognised by his peers after leading the Canaries to the title and promotion back to the Championship. He and the players are due to parade through the city.
The Statue of Justice with the scales and the Sword of Truth is one of our most famous symbols. She sits on top of the Old Bailey. But 100 miles away in the market town of Bungay in Suffolk, they've just restored their own version.
Oh yeah! Oh yay! The Suffolk town of Bungay has something to shout about. Over 100 hours of restoration complete. The Lady of Justice at the town's Buttercross in all her glory.
There are toes and toenails and sandals and facial features which you cannot see from down here, and that's all been uncovered and stripped back.
Now the Lady of Justice at the Old Bailey might be a familiar sight, but the one in Bungay, dating back to 1700, is one of a handful of replicas in the UK. The work was carried out because this statue was repainted so many times, no definition was left. This statue of Justice here in Bungay with her scales and sword is believed to be one of 2 examples of a statue of justice in the country, minus a blindfold. After many hours of hard work, magnificent fine detail like here on the fingers and on the toes have been brought back to life.
It's been painstaking, all the tiny nooks and crannies which had to get all the paint off completely so we can do the renovations.
Local people say the town's Lady of Justice was taken down and buried in a nearby common for protection during the Second World War. Now lovingly restored, it's now on show for current and future generations to enjoy. Kate Riley, BBC Look East, Bungay.